大家好，我是康云. Hello everyone, I'm Kang Yun, and welcome back to Demon Souls, Chang'e's journey through Boletaria. Last time we made it through the tutorial. We did not defeat the Vanguard Demon, but we did get to meet the NPCs of the Nexus. Something I wanted to comment on was Thomas. I didn't really talk much about my thoughts on him. So he says that he's when the fog, the colorless fog, swept through the land and overtook Boletaria and demons started to run amok. He basically fled like a coward and was separated from his wife and daughter. Or he abandoned them, really. And we're led to believe that he was knocked out, or I don't know that he's dead, because he's not in his, he doesn't appear to be in soul form, but he makes it clear that doesn't have the courage to fight the demons, and he says he fled like a coward, so he sort of feels guilty about what he did, and for that reason feels obligated to serve the demon slayers who are trapped here in this nexus. And I think that's I don't know, it's very interesting, and I think goes pretty deep. That's pretty heavy stuff, and part of what I love about the storytelling in this game, and in these games in particular. And when we talked to Boldwin, he mentioned Ed, the other blacksmith, who we will meet when we get to Stonefang. And Ed is the blacksmith that will be able to upgrade weapons using all stones that are available in the game. And also make unique boss weapons once you unlock that ability. So yeah, I just wanted to comment on that briefly. We don't really know too much about Ed's background other than that he apparently was... we'll get a little bit more in the future, I think, when we actually do meet Ed. He'll tell more. The NPCs do have more things to say as you progress through the game. But I think he seems to have come from Stonefang, because he does have a few scales on him. If we look, let's see if we can't use the camera mode to look at him. Yeah, he's definitely got scales growing on him, which the enemy types in Stonefang are called scale miners, and we'll get to see them when we actually get there. Okay, anyways. I think we might get a little bit more dialogue from the Crestfallen Warrior.
You came for demon souls? Or to save this land and be remembered as a hero? But it's all the same. You're just another prisoner of the Nexus. We're welcome here, as long as we keep slashing up demons.
Yeah, he is very cynical and not trusting of the Monumental, and essentially feels that there's no hope for people like him and I, because he's essentially one of us, but he just has given up on fighting because he feels like there's no reason to, because you're just serving a higher power that you have no control over, and you know, there's a lot to that, and we'll talk more about that as we progress through the game.
You came for demon souls.
Yeah, he says the same thing. So there's nothing else we can do now but go to Boletaria. This is the Boletarian Gate, the northern kingdom of Boletaria. And I like how they animate the like the image showing where you go. I think that's cool. That dragon has a mouthful of corpses. So, this is a very big metaphor for the game. As soon as you enter the game, you're met with a giant wall and a closed gate. And to our back is another closed gate, and we're sort of walled in, and we're not it's not a very warm welcome. If we go backwards, we can find around here 2 late moon grasses, some more potent healing. I really like that they included in the remake the detailing of the scaffolding along the wall and the burning towers up there. To our left, we can see what looks like a chapel. And to our right, some more mountains. If we look below, there's a ravine. And this is a bridge that is leading to the outer wall of the Boletarian castle. It's cool the detail they added to that ravine. In the original, it was not much to it. And then off to our left, just up ahead, is we can see the execution grounds. You see there's a noose there. If you look, maybe we can't. If you just look to that left, you can see those are guillotines, and there are crucifixes. Pretty gruesome sight. And there are these what are those called? I can't think of the name. It's clearly set up to ward off invaders. Now, we're unclear as if this seems like these Dreglings were set here to, you know, they're the weakest line of defense, and they were set here to ward off the demons, but they have become so soul depraved that they're basically mindless. They're mindless, you know, creatures now, and will attack anything that comes here that has a soul. If we come over here, we can see that this gate is closed. But the message says, if the world tendency is white, then you can proceed, which it is true. And it's also true that if the world tendency is black, you can proceed. This gate opens up in white and black tendency, pure white and pure black. But that's not something we're too concerned about just yet. World tendency is something you can see in this menu here. All of the worlds when you first start out this game will be in neutral, including your character tendency. Character and world tendency do play a big part of this game and is something that distinguishes Demon Souls from the other Souls games. But that's something we'll discuss more when it's more pertinent. So we can take out these Dreglings from range as well. And because a lot of enemies are weak to magic, we can take them out with only one hit. And you see, despite having used several spells, we've already gotten a good amount of MP back because of our Fragrant Ring. And he dropped a firebomb for us. Those will be very useful. And we come up to this gate, and we can't get inside. There's no obvious way to enter, and to our right is another locked gate, and to our left is another one. But we can see an item in there, so we know we can get inside there. But we can go off to the left here, and we can see a crossbowman. We can take him out from range. And there are some more Dreglings here. And you'll notice this large pit. And there are some souls floating down there. They may tempt you, but do not be fooled. That is death if you fall through there. And up here is where that crossbowman was. And there is 2 half-moon grass there. Through here, you want to be careful. Welcome. You want to be careful because to our right is another Dregling. Now the reason why we one-shot him with our R2 there is because he rebounded off of our shield. And when we attacked him, we hit him in vulnerability frames. So we see some banners in here. These banners, we're not quite sure what they are. They might represent a house belonging to the kingdom of Boletaria. And here, these banners here have this crest on them that is the crest on the shield of the hoplites. So I wonder, and I'm not the first person to point this out or speculate upon this, but that this might be the crest of Longbow Ulan and his legion of spearsmen, or what is it that they're called? You get that lore later, but that's speculation, like a lot of the lore in this game. Ooh. You want to be careful here. You can get overwhelmed by having to fight 2 soldiers, and these soldiers do hit a bit harder and have more health and defense than the Draglings. Something I love about this level is the natural progression and the upping of the ante as you go through it. You see, this must have been a place where you know, these soldiers would sleep. There's food there. And we'll cross through our first fog wall. And to our right, going up, we see a soldier, and he's going to throw fire bombs at us. Very hostile. And through here, we can see an item. Nameless Hero Soul. And another item, and this is another rapier style weapon. This is a Mailbreaker. The Mailbreaker is essentially an inferior rapier. It's smaller, lighter, has more durability, and requires no strength, or no dexterity rather. It's useful if you don't have a thrusting weapon to begin with. I'm actually going to be focusing on using the thrusting sword class on this build, along with magic. Primarily going to be focused on magic, but for when I do use swords, I would like to use the thrusting swords, because it's not a class of swords that I've really used a ton, so it'll be a different playstyle for me in a lot of ways. And through here we have a pretty nasty trap, or tight spot. Up there is a guy who's throwing fire bombs at us, and he can hit us from there, so you want to be careful. You want to try to run through here quickly, and if you can, turn around and take him out, so you don't have to worry about backing up, because then up ahead, above us, is another soldier who will throw fire bombs at us. And then there are two Dreglings, and these ones have, their swords are buffed with fire, which will do more damage. And so, if we can, we want to take him out from range. And you see the power of choosing royalty as your starting class. Well, although you have a smaller health pool, you start with a strong spell and large MP pool and a very powerful ring that gives you MP regeneration, so allows you to continuously use magic, even if you don't have spice to regenerate your MP or restore. So from up here we can get a look down at where we started, and then a view of those gallows from over there. And just below us is that section where we just were with the two soldiers and going through that fog. And through here, if you pay attention, you go up these stairs, there is a boulder there, and if you go up there, he will kick that boulder down. And I didn't point this out, but there was an item there, and we weren't able to get it. But after that boulder falls through there, it breaks the floor. You can pick up some half-moon grass here, and now we can drop down and loot this item, which is the giant sword, or the bastard sword as it's called in English. We don't have enough strength to wield this sword. You need 18 strength, which I think would mean having at least 10 strength, I believe. I'm not sure, but we only have 9. I mean, you might need more than 10. I can't remember. But yeah, we cannot use this sword. but I guess I could show it. It is a large sword, as it's called. Has a large sword moveset. It's good for crowd control. And this is the Mailbreaker. A tiny little thrusting sword. Same moveset as the Rapier. But we'll stick with our Rapier for now. I will be using the Mailbreaker, but not in the not as my main weapon here. This is a spot where the Rapier shines because we can attack him in that narrow passageway. If you run around him, you can do what they call a pivot backstab. Take out that archer, and then there is another crossbowman, and then there is a spearsman. These guys are nasty. You want to be careful here because they can hit you from range, and they can block while attacking. So you want to be careful about them. We get 4 half moon grass there, and if you come through this little hut, you come out here and you can see there is a enemy up ahead. I can't get past my character, but you can see he clearly has red glowing eyes, which is an indication that he is a strong enemy. And usually you'll see messages here. Well, these are my messages I wrote on my other character. I wrote this, it's dangerous here, and then I wrote, I wish you good luck. No ratings on those, which I'm kind of surprised. But we will fight him, but before we do that, it's a good idea to go backwards. And you can see that the knight from this angle, and you can see that chapel that we could see from the beginning down there. And you can see also that on this wall are catapults set up as a line of defense, assuming against the demons, the invasion of the demons that was brought by King Mont. And parrying the knights is a good idea. Parrying the blue-eyed knights with the swords, anyways. If you're able to land the parry and get a riposte, it is a good way to take them out because they do resist thrust attacks otherwise. And these guys will show the player about exploding barrels. If you attack them with fire attacks, they will explode. And they usually will kill themselves, so you don't have to worry about them. But then there is another one. So you want to be extra careful when traversing these stairs. And if you come out here, you'll see these chains, and you can actually see there are corpses on them. If we can't take the camera out, yeah, there are corpses hanging there, and we dropped one of them already. And we want to drop the other one. So those are 2 corpses that we'll want to loot, and those are noteworthy. It's some of the most unique corpses in the game, I think. And you want to be careful, like I said, coming down here. It's easy to walk off the ledge and fall to your death because it's dark. And we can take these guys out from range. They are quite dangerous. You could throw a firebomb at the barrels and explode a lot of them, but it's not advisable because it's better to save your firebombs, because the boss of this level is not that it's necessarily weak to fire, but at this point in the game, your best method of attack against it is fire. And then we come down here. Oh, he dropped a broken sword. That's actually would be useful if we were making a blue blood sword build, but we're not. We want to pull this lever, which will open these gates. And we will get the cling ring. This ring is one of the most useful rings in the game. You might say it's the most powerful ring because it gives you more HP when you're in soul form. So we'll equip that. We'll take off that providential ring, because right now there's not too much we need. And here's the first corpse that we looted, and it's a looks like a woman, and this is a younger woman. But off that corpse we got some old spice and some ragged robes, and this corpse contains the jade hair decoration or ornament. These two characters here Fei Cui. That's a very interesting word. It can mean several different things, but it obviously here means jade or jade green, but it also can mean emerald or jadeite or tree kingfisher, apparently, according to my my dictionary. But this is a hair ornament belonging to a young girl whose corpse we just looted. That's a quest item that will come into play shortly. And the other thing we looted is these tattered robes. These are essentially witches' robes, and while I could use them because I'm a female, these are female only. I prefer the look of the magician's robes for this character. So we'll stick with those for now. But those do have the strongest, I'll point that out. If you look at the bottom right there, that disease, or plague as it's called in English, it has 62, 37, 37. So this set has the strongest plague resistance of any set in the game. So, and it's locked to females. For males, I think the best would be the Gloom set. So if we make our way back up here, we now have that shortcut unlocked. If we were to die fighting this red-eyed knight. I am not used to fighting him as a royalty. And the buckler is not a great shield for blocking his attacks, I feel like. So you can stun him with a few hits. Yeah. So he drops... He dropped 3 full moon grasses for us. You do not have to fight him like that, but if you're not confident in engaging in melee with him, which I could have, but the round shield or the buckler has only 45 stability, which is quite low. It only has 90 physical block, so he would break my guard quite easily. And he's only guarding a nameless hero soul. There is a door here also that is locked, and we do not have the key for it. This comes into play much later. Or typically it does. But essentially that Red-Eyed Knight is just there for a challenge, and he also drops quite a few souls. We already have 3,000 now. I think he dropped around 2,000 souls. I was, if I remember correctly. And if we overlook this broken part of the wall, we can see that there's an item down there, and we can drop to it. And here you'll get 16 wooden bolts and a light crossbow. Crossbows are pretty weak in this game, and we don't even have enough strength to properly wield this. But if you don't have any form of ranged attack, at least in this point in the game, it's a decent means of... You can use it to, I guess, shoot an enemy from range to get their attention if you're not wanting to engage a full group of enemies. It does minimal damage, and crossbows cannot be upgraded in this game. So, there's that. Then we'll go through this fog wall finally. And we'll come down here. Now, we can see that there's an item there. And some enemies. And if we do run up against this, we will hop down there. But we can engage with this soldier over here. And if we approach him, there's a bunch of exploding barrels, which he will throw a firebomb to explode. We can take him out. And you can actually go through here this way. And you are able to go down to where those enemies are and approach the situation from that side, but I will show the more traditional way in which you do it. So you want to be running, and you'll hop over there, and we'll encounter another NPC.
That was a bold leap, a surprise indeed. Well, now that you are here, pray thee, fend off these Dreglings.
So he's obviously with his lavish sword and shield, sort of a what should we say? The way he talks to you, like fend off these Dreglings, like he seems like he's higher up, like he's not used to doing things himself. That's what we're meant to take from that, I think. This corpse, you get another useful ring. This is the Thief's Ring. This is one of the most powerful rings in the game as well. This first level gives you the 2 strongest rings in the game, arguably. So, being a royalty, we can take those guys out pretty easily. One of them dropped some turpentine for us. That's great. And there's a nameless soldier's soul. This you can go ahead and take out the enemies before talking to him, and he won't move. But if you talk to him,
my thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude.
And he gives us the brass telescope, which would imply I think if you read the description on that, it says something about the coming from the southern lands. Yeah, the region to the south. We want to be careful here because there is a berserker knight with a claymore, and he's the enemy that usually can kill Ostrava if Ostrava does risk, because he does risk getting killed by these enemies. So we want to stay on them. Here we can get a scimitar. Wan Dao. And you want to follow him and make sure that wherever he goes, he doesn't get himself into too much trouble, because he will wander around here and aggro a bunch of these enemies. Another dangerous part, he usually can handle himself, but there are a bunch of Dreglings down here that can very easily overwhelm you or him. I think there's one or two more. Yeah, there's two more. I underestimate the range of that R2. Dropped a Mailbreaker. And then here is a very useful pickup. There's 3 shards and three shards of each hardstone and sharpstone. So if you didn't beat the Vanguard, you can use those to upgrade your weapon. Gets another soul, and there's a battle axe soldier. Some crescent moon grass from him. And Ostrava will walk back and forth now. He'll just patrol, and he'll...
Now I take my leave. There is something I must do.
He'll sort of go back and forth here, but we've cleared out all the enemies, so we don't really need to worry about him anymore. It is possible, actually, to... Oh, they saw him. I went out there too late. You can snipe these guys through the window. I haven't really practiced. Well, as I said, this is my first time playing on a magician in this version of the game, or magic build. Some crescent grass. Watch out for these crossbowmen up here. It's another soldier, another Dregling. Now we can engage with some enemies over there, but we'll be getting rained upon by bolts from these crossbowmen over here. So we want to, it's in our best interest to go up here and take them out before we handle that situation. Another nameless hero soul. And then we have another blue-eyed knight. It can be a little awkward to parry him sometimes because you're on some stairs. But the blue-eyed knights are great to kill because they do drop the stronger grasses. And they have a 100% drop rate on some item. We have some light moon grasses. And now that we've taken out the two crossbowmen, we can go deal with this situation over here. And if we use the camera mode, I think we can, yeah, we can see that there are two axemen up here that will jump down. There's usually a third. Oh, the third guy is the soldier with the sword that we've killed just over there. But he will often be on this bridge, but he sees you from down there and usually will come running down those stairs. But if we go through here, when we walk past here, they will jump down. Gotta be careful. Those guys do hit hard with their axes. And then in here, if we approach it from this way, we can get the drop on this halberdier, who will hit quite hard as well. Oh, looks like he hurt us. And then to our right is another soldier with a sword, a long sword. And if we roll through these planks, we encounter this guy, our first merchant. Well, outside of Boldwin.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling, eh?
You can talk to him.
Brave knight or lowly fodder? The demons snatched their souls regardless of their station, plummeting them all into madness. And those who dare cling to their humanity were hunted down. It is the end of great Boletaria as we know it. But hell, at least the demons don't send us to our deaths in battle.
He is a Dregling or a slave merchant. And he's essentially what those other guys are.
There's this skinny fellow, clad in the most lavish armor, who's always mumbling about some mission. He's another one who's managed to stay sane, like yourself. Probably some pampered little lordling by the looks of his attire. I'd give an arm just for the buttons off his shirt.
Yeah, he's obviously referring to Ostrava there. And it's interesting that he's taking advantage of this situation, and he says that now that demons have overrun Boletaria, they more or less leave the Dreglings alone. He is a decently useful merchant. Not entirely useful. If you don't have any sort of heavy armor, he sells plate armor. I'm not really interested in that. I do like the way this helm looks on females. But not too interested in that right now. He sells a soldier shield. He sells a slave shield. He sells wooden bolts, a wooden shield, the light crossbow. He sells a short spear, a club, a long sword. He sells soldier's lotus, which heals bleeding, fire bombs, half moon, and crescent moon grass. He does sell crescent moon grass for 100, whereas Boldwin sold it for 150. But if you've seen how much grass we've gotten from these enemies, buying grass here, unless you're very short on it, is usually not advised because you could just get more from killing the enemies. If you want a sword or spear, perhaps maybe you might want to buy one of those. But otherwise, the only shield that he has that's any worthwhile is this soldier's shield. It's better than our buckler, but not by much. So yeah, that's the Dregling merchant, and he will reappear throughout Boletaria, upgrading his inventory as you progress through the level.
Go ahead. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere.
But I think that is going to have to do it for this episode, guys, because we are running short on time, so I think we'll have to end it here. I want to thank all of you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you in the next one. Umbasa.